Welcome back to another episode of Systems Saturday. In today's video, you are going to learn how to build your own first AI agent on your own. You don't need to be a techie person. We're going to cover everything step by step. So buckle it up because today you're going to build your first own AI agent. And you probably have heard me talking about agents in the past, and I don't want to go into too much detail today because we covered some of the things in earlier episodes. But basically, we're looking at some limitations when we're using ChatGPT. I mean, there's a lot of limitations, right? I mean, if you're like me and you get angry quickly, then you will have had a situation in the past where you were basically just shouting at ChatGPT because it just wasn't doing what you wanted it to do, right? So if this is something that you struggled with, there's basically two things, and we covered them in another episode, two things that you can do to solve that problem. First, you can fine-tune your own ChatGPT model that then learns what you would like to see as response for certain prompts, right? So it's basically learning from you and you train it on a specific set of data. I think we did this in episode 2, and it is a rather time-consuming job because you have to give it 50 to 100 examples, you have to format them in JSON-L, you have to pay OpenAI some money to train ChatGPT. It's not too expensive, but it comes with some issues, right? While fine-tuning is a great thing, there's another way to enhance the capabilities of your AI. Or there's multiple ways, right? We covered in another video RAG, so retrieval augmented I don't get it right now, but basically giving your AI access, for example, using a SERP API to the internet, so it has real-time access to information, for example, I don't know, the weather, or outcomes of sport events or whatever. Now, this also runs into some limitations. What we want to build today is an AI agent that you train to always use a certain tool, because different than just ChatGPT where you go back and forth chatting, even if you have a fine-tuned model, you're just going to chat and you get a response. It's not going to do anything, right? It's not capable of using tools, scheduling appointments, solving problems for you. An agent can do that. Now, you can get really complex with AI agents and basically make them your next Jarvis or virtual assistant. This could probably be a little bit too complex for the first one. What we want to do today is really, really useful and powerful agent that would help you to create content that fits your business. Something that a lot of businesses struggle with and that delivers a lot of value, and it's actually relatively easy to do. So get yourself a drink. By the way, that is what I'm talking about for espresso martini. Hang on. Wow, get yourself a drink and let's get going. First, before we get into it, we want to give our AI that we're gonna use today a tool called a brand brief. If you are following me for a little time now, you may have heard me saying that without having a clear brand vision, you cannot tap into the power of AI. While some people, I think most people misunderstand that when I'm saying that, and they're like, "Oh, it's one of the dreamer guys, you gotta be, it's like semi-esoteric. You gotta be so passionate about everything, and you gotta love the business, blah blah blah." I'm honestly not that guy, but what you do need is a clear positioning for your brand. That could be you if you're just a content creator. That could be your company if you're self-employed. If you have 50 employees, it doesn't matter. You need clarity on what your company or your brand stands for and what it stands against, what your tone of voice is, etc. So this is the first step we're going to do today, how to get your own brand brief. Then I'm going to show you how to store this brand brief. And then we're going to build an AI agent that we give access to this brand brief. So whenever you ask this agent anything, for example, create me some content, it is going to read your brand brief. It is going to understand what your mission is, right? What you're all about, what you're against, some things that you would never say, for example. And then it's going to come back with a response. And this will naturally always be better than if you just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I need a post about, I don't know, let's say I need a post about real estate, right? Because ChatGPT may come back and first of all, it's going to come back with some slimy shit, like awesome opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And then even if you get more specific, you start discussing with it and getting a heated discussion, like, why the hell are you not understanding what I want? Even then, it's going to come back with something that you wouldn't expect. For example, it's going the commercial real estate route, but you're not about commercial real estate. So the content doesn't really fit you. So we need a brand brief. Let me get into that and show you what I'm talking about. So I think actually this is a practice everybody should do, but let's see. Let me first go in here and share with you the brand brief. Now, this here is my brand brief, not for this content that you're watching right now. This is really important to understand, right? So this content here is never AI generated because I just do it for passion. Also all my Instagram content, etc. Now, I am in Oracle Cloud Consulting, and I do also want to post some stuff on LinkedIn, but I hate it, right? I fucking hate LinkedIn. I think it's a really annoying platform. So I built an AI agent to handle my content creation on LinkedIn for me. I hope you guys can see that well. This is on Notion. I honestly never use Notion. I don't even know how to make this bigger. Let me check. Nah, it doesn't really work. So this here is just a quick version of my brand brief. All right, this is just 1 or 2 pages in a Word document. I first want to show you the structure that I'm following, and then we can go ahead and create your own one in ChatGPT, or you write it down in a quiet moment. The most important thing that I wanted you to tell is this here is obviously a rudimentary thing because I don't really care about LinkedIn. It does give me really, really good results, honestly, for my posts. But it is only for my Oracle Cloud Consulting. So let's say, for example, you do multiple things, right? You have an entertainment channel and then you have something else for your agency. Then you would need to have 2 different brand briefs. Every business or every personal brand needs a separate brand brief. Important to understand. All right. Now, this here is the brand brief, and I always do it like this. You want a brand purpose, a vision, you have your target audience, right? All this basic stuff, and you can see I went through it fairly bullet pointish. You have audience pain points, that's very important. A tone of voice, that is super important as well. For example, I would never say, I'm excited to join this wonderful new opportunity, whatever. I think that's kind of gay. So you will never hear me saying something like this. I'm always very, Well, I don't know if these lives here are structured and clear, honestly, but I'm direct and honest, and I use a normal conversational tone, right? Something like this. Well, then we have brand personality and style. We have core beliefs. This is very important. For example, I don't want ChatGPT or my AI agent to come up with something that is against my core beliefs. For example, if it would come up with content like Oracle Cloud is the best system in the market for every company out there. This is not what I think, right? It is what ChatGPT would know from reading all the Oracle Cloud documentation. It is what you will get even from Perplexity, because Perplexity is also trained on valid sources. Perplexity is another AI tool that you might be familiar with. Especially with Perplexity, you get a lot of responses that sound like marketing, because it is trained on searching through valuables or valid sources. It's not going to go on Reddit. It's not going to take the actual opinions of customers. It is going to take the official documents. And in cases like this here, this obviously returns shit results, but because it's It's reading through basically advertising that's on the internet. So core beliefs, super important. Value proposition, well, that's good. Content philosophy, well, yeah. And then what people should take away from your content. You could, as I said, make this year better with a little bit of effort and using ChatGPT, but for this practice here, this year should be enough. If you want to follow along while we are live here, you can now just go ahead and we want to go over to ChatGPT. Let me, brand purpose vision. Let me do this. Let me pull this over here. Let's go over to ChatGPT. And we're going to say, I need a brand brief to describe my personal brand, right? Or whatever you have. Let's say your company brand. You could probably just start with that and then say, please ask me questions to give me the best result. Probably say, you are a strategic social media content advisor. I need a brand brief to describe my company's brand, to then use that to create better content with my AI agent. Please ask me questions to give me the best result. Okay, that would be at least good enough, right? You could go a little bit more detail, but now it's going to come back with a bunch of different questions. And you see, they're usually all kind of the same, right? Some have the vision and brand purpose. Then is the brand identity, strategy, content positioning, anti-branding. This is what I'm saying, right? It's just something you don't like. I honestly think my initial brand brief was a little better. So this year is probably not the best version. But for now, if you're following along, just typing something like this, get something back real quick, and then we can move on. Otherwise, right, you still have, if you're watching this here as a recording, then you have my brand brief here. You can take a look at all the different topics. Just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, ask me a lot of questions about every single topic so that you can create me a quick brand brief. So this is what you're going to come up with. And I highly recommend you ask it to give it back to you in this kind of a markdown format, probably without smileys and everything, right? But as a markdown format, because it's easy for an AI to comprehend, where you have a heading vision, for example, then you have text, then you have heading, then you have bullet points, then you have a heading, right? This is what we need as per the readability for your AI agent. All right. So this is the first step. Now, when you are still here in ChatGPT, you now will come back with a text. With this text, you will not just be able to upload a Word document into your N8N agent that we're going to build later. Right? This is what it's going to look like. We're not able to upload a Word document here. There's 1,000 ways on how you can do this here. I decided to use Notion because I do think a lot of people do have Notion, and it's a fairly easy tool to use. So let me quickly show you around here. When you get into Notion, I don't even know how to get there, right? Home. So this here is Notion. Notion is like, I don't know, they're trying to become an everything tool right now, I feel. You can build like databases, to-do lists, project management, calendar views, content schedules. You can build pretty much everything in here. I don't really like it. I know there's some people that do only use that for their whole company, this and Slack or something. So it's actually a very powerful tool. But honestly, today we just want to go ahead and use a very, very simple thing. Click here on the left side, you can open a new page and you can copy in. Let's see if I can copy the brand brief. This is stupid, but let me do it anyways. You can copy in your brand brief. Now that you have this, by the way, Notion is free, right, on the beginning, and never paid a penny for that. So that's also a good reason to use this here. I think the free version is free for life. So now that you have this brand brief page, I'll probably need to rename this for demo. Now that you have this page here, we want to leave it here for just a second, and I show you now N8N and how we're going to build our agent today. So this here is N8N. N8N. This is N8N. N8N is one of the leading automation tools right now. I think if you talk to tech people like me, we are all in agreement that N8N is the best automation tool right now. Obviously, there's always discussions about everything. If you are facing people that are more, like a little bit less techy, they're probably going to use Make.com or Zapier. In another video, I think in the last episode, I even showed you how to use Microsoft Power Automate that actually nobody in the world uses. I don't know why. I think it's actually pretty easy to use, a nice, easy tool for beginners. And N8N provides you a lot of flexibility, including self-hosting. For this video, I am here, and they know for N8 for AI agents. That's already what you see here. So an AI agent, it's nice that we have this picture here. An AI agent basically has a chat model attached to it. So in this example here, they used Claude or Anthropic. You have a chat model that is going to be used by the agent. Then you have a memory. This is usually just you can imagine it like the RAM CPU, whatever, you know what I mean, in the computer, right? So a quick short-term memory in most cases. You could be advanced there. And then you have an unlimited amount of tools that your AI agent can use. And this is where the difference comes in to what we're seeing in, I don't know, normal chat model, because a normal chat model can't do shit, right? This here, for example, could go to Jira and create a support ticket or update a support ticket, or do something with Microsoft. It could integrate with Trello. It can use Cal.com or use your Gmail to send out an email. It can literally do everything. And this is why this here is so incredibly powerful, and why probably assistants in companies will go extinct in a couple of years, because this here can literally do everything that an assistant normally does, like scheduling meetings, calling people, sending and reading through emails, all the good stuff this agent here can do. What we want to do today is just start a very simple version of that. So let's go over to N8N. By the way, this here has a free plan, I think. Or no, it has a free trial. The good thing about this is it won't require you to put up a credit card. You can start this free trial, and I think it goes for 14 days or something. And it's a very nice way to just get started. And if you then don't like it or you stop using it, it will just shut down automatically. So that's great as well. Right, so no worries there. You can just go ahead and create a free trial for, I think, 14 days. And then you should be good. Now, as soon as you're logged in what we just saw, my workspace, you are going to click on the plus in the upper left, click on plus, new workflow, and click on, it's probably going to say the same in your case, personal. Now, here is where it gets, here's where the fun begins. First, let's quickly just put together a part of the infrastructure of our agent. Now, we're going to add a first step. Click on plus. And on the right side, you will see all these different things that you can do. Now, today we want to build an AI agent that still runs on chat. Right? We don't want to go overly complex. We still want something that we can chat with that gives us good scripted content, better scripted content than our normal ChatGPT, right? So let's say on chat message, just click somewhere. And now this is the start for our AI agent that we're later going to use. And at any time you can come in here, click on chat, and you can basically start typing, oopsie, say something, hello or something, and then you can start using the workflow, right? Or testing the workflow. Now, for now, this doesn't make any sense because we don't have anything in there. So the next step is gonna click on plus, and you can search for AI agent, or let me click through it so it's more visual, AI, and then go here and click on AI agent. Now, again, if you want to go out of this here, you can click somewhere. And this is your AI agent. This is basically what we just saw before, right? Where you have a chat model that we're gonna attach, a memory, and a tool. The chat model is actually very easy, and we're going to do it right now. Chat model could be any one of these chat models. For example, OpenRouter is, I think, 350 different chat models. Let's go simple. Let's go for OpenAI. And because I already have it, I'm going to select one of the chat models we created in here, Oracle Jarvis. This series, I think. Yep, this is it. Remember, I don't know if you watched the second episode where we fine-tuned the ChatGPT model. This here is the one that we created, the personal Oracle Jarvis. So I'm going to select this model. Otherwise, you have all the OpenAI chat models here. For example, if you didn't fine-tune your model yet, just go for ChatGPT 4o Mini or something like this, right? 4o Mini, right? That's already pre-selected. Now, let's go to personal Oracle Jarvis and click out here. Now, one thing that I find worth noticing, because you see this here on the internet and you may follow along and you think, oh God, you didn't tell me that, that's annoying. So if you want to call a chat model from here via OpenAPI, you will, what? OpenAI, not OpenAPI, Jesus. Via OpenAI, you will need some money in your OpenAI account. You will remember that from the second episode. You will need to go over to OpenAI. Okay, now I need to log in and everything. Anyways, platform.openai.com, right? This is where you need to go, and then go over to your billing section, and you can add some credits. $5 will be enough, but it will always cost you something when you call a chat model from in here, even if you run on the pro version, whatever you do, right? So keep that in mind. Secondly, the thing that you need to keep in mind, I am already connected to literally everything in this n8n instance. If you use this for the first time, you will need to input your credentials, right? So you need to click on create new credentials, but no worries. I know this here looks techy. Honestly, like, don't freak out. They have a very good documentation here on every one of these nodes where it says open docs, and it's going to show you exactly what you need to do. This is just a couple of steps. It's super easy. It tells you exactly where to go. You can even click on this here, like open your API keys page. It's going to link you to platform.openai.com API keys. Again, I need to log in, but you see it here in the URL. It's going to lead you through it step by step, and you can connect your OpenAI account, right? I just didn't want you to get lost or scared because nothing is working. You need to connect your tools with n8n for it to work properly. Man, I can't speak English. Jesus. All right. Now, for this agent, Let's quickly go ahead and add a memory. We're going to add simple memory. We're going to not do anything else. Just click out of here. And now we're going to save it. First, I want to change the name. You can click in the upper left here. I want to say demo simple AI agent. And don't freak out if that's not simple, right? For me, it's simple, but if it's not simple for you, that's good, right? You're here to learn something new. So it's not supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be insightful. So no worries, right? This here is the AI agent we're going to use today. Click on save. All right, thank you. Now, we also need a second flow because for the tool today, we want to have access to our brand brief. Oh, not here. Here, our brand brief for demo. This here is what we want our AI agent to have access to, right? So it's going to use this OpenAI chat model. It has a quick memory. And then we also want it to read through the brand brief every time that it creates content. I hope this makes sense. Unfortunately, there's no click on plus and add a Word document, right? So what we want to do is we want to build another workflow. No worries. This will be super, super simple. So we're going to click here, add another workflow. And this here is going to be called, just follow along. If this doesn't make sense, no worries, just follow along because it will make sense eventually. We're going to start this here by when executed by another workflow. This is down here. And you want to select the input data mode as accept all data. First, let's rename this. It's always a good practice. And we will name this demo get brand brief. All right. Practicing my touchless typing. Honestly, man. What a pain. Okay. Now, what we want to add next is we want basically n8n to go into Notion and get our document. Now, this is a little bit complex. First, you want to look for Notion. Click on here, and it's going to give you a lot of different options. All right. You can create pages. This is obviously not what we want to do. We also don't want to get a page. The way that Notion structures its data is in blocks. So they call it a block. So what we want to do is get many child blocks. Select this here. Again, same game with the Notion account. You will have to connect your Notion, click on Open Docs, and it will lead you through everything step by step. Oopsie. The resource will be block, right? That's what I just said. So we're looking for blocks, and the operation will be, I'm clicking too fast. Block, and the operation will be get child block. So you actually wouldn't have to change anything here. Now, here is an issue. You cannot just go ahead right now and add your URL to your Notion page. Why? Because it's not shareable yet. You cannot go here, click on share, copy the link, and just copy it in there. Because it is not connected to n8n, this page here, and doesn't have the right to access this here. And this is good, right? Otherwise, your security would be out the window. So how can we get n8n to have access to this page here every single time that this AI agent that we're building runs? Now, there is something here in Notion that you have to do. And that is called setting up a connection. So if you click not on share, but you go here and you scroll all the way down, you see connections down here. And here you actually see a lot of tools. Unfortunately, you see everything like if this, then that. You see make.com, maker.io, you see Typeform, Zapier, you see everything but n8n. Unfortunately. right? That's why only tech people love n8n, because otherwise it's not the best in terms of integration, because you have to do everything yourself. But no worries, it's actually relatively easy to do. So what you want to do in your Notion, where your brand brief is, we want to go. What do we want to do? Hang on. I normally only use the app. No, this doesn't matter. Home. All right, screw this. We're in here. Let's click on the three dots. Let's go to connections. And down here, let's click on manage connections. I thought actually there was something down here, but maybe, oh, it's in the settings. Here's the settings. Anyways, regardless, right? You already saw this here. So click on the three dots, scroll down, click on connections, and then manage connections. Otherwise, we could click on settings there. Now, here it brings you right to connections. And it shows you the Notion AI connector, Slack, Google Drive, yay, all the stuff that we don't need right now because we need to develop or manage our own integration. This sounds scary, but it's actually not, because it's very easy. We're going to create a new integration. We're going to associate it to my only workspace that I have. The type will be internal. And let me check here. Oh, this is the one that I already have. Oopsie. No, internal, and just click on save. So this is everything right now. We could actually upload a logo. That would be cool. I don't know where I have something saved on my PC. Doesn't matter. Click on save. Oopsie. Demo for n8n agent. Yes, I know that you don't capitalize the n's, but I did it. So integration is successfully created already. All right, now you can click on configure integration settings or whatever it just said. And this is basically your custom backdoor to your system. So let me quickly stop sharing here to try to explain that. The way that systems are integrated is usually called an API. It's basically a backdoor to access your system, right? It's a, how do you even call this in English? A linking point. It's kind of a connector basically, right? Where you allow another system to access the data of your system if it has right username and password. That's basically it. So for the tech guys, please don't kill me for that explanation. I know it's not really how it works, but you're sending back and forth messages or information. Imagine like Facebook Messenger, right? And in this case here, n8n is going to send a message and say, hey, I have this password and username. I need access to this page. And then Notion is going to say, right, okay, this works. You get access. And then n8n grabs the information, gets the child blocks. That's the step we just built. Grabs the child blocks and brings them back into n8n. Right? This is what we're doing here. So I know it looks a little techy. It is a little techy, but it's not the end of the world. And you don't need to code or anything. Anyone can do this. So let me share the screen again, and we're going to go into the next step. Share here. We don't need to read comments, user information we don't care about. This should be good, actually. All right. Now, there's one thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to show this on camera. Is I need to show my internal integration secret, and I'm not going to show it because it's secret. You don't want to show these keys to anyone. All right. So I'm going to show it. I'm going to copy it. I think I did show it anyways. So I'm going to delete it after the session. Retarded. Anyways, here we are. I thought it would disappear afterwards immediately. All right. So first, let me go over here. And when you're in here, you want to connect your Notion account and you're going to enter your internal integration secret here. All right. This is the first thing. So let's enter this secret here, save this. It's my new credentials. Saved. That worked. Good. Now, next step, go into Notion, click on connections. Now, let's reload this page. Brand brief for demo. Click on here, go down, click on connections, and select the same thing that we just created. Demo for N8N agent, right? So we created a new connection and we're going to use exactly this connection that we logged into our N8N instance as well. Demo for N8N agent. Yeah, confirm. Now you see one active connection down here. It's going to be shown down there, there. You can see what access it has, etc., etc. Now we are able to share this thing here, share, copy link, go over here, enter the link, obviously, right? Not the end of the world. Return all, save, and let's, oh God, it's hidden down there. Let's test the workflow. All right. So this worked. So it's green, right? That's good. For you. That's what I'm saying. For you, this worked. And it returned 43 fucking items. That's hilarious. So let's click into that because we only put in one brand brief, right? But remember what I told you. The way that, so on the left side, you always see the input for a certain step. On the right side, you see the output. The way that Notion structures its data is in these blocks, right? So we grabbed a big amount of blocks. Here's a block. Here is a block. Another block, right? So we got a lot of different blocks. The way that it does return this here is in JSON. You can, on the upper right here, switch to a table format, what is probably easier to understand for most of you guys. Or you could go into a schema, what probably doesn't serve you at all. Right? So table view gives you more of the text view. But for us right now, what I want to show you, this here is actually not the best view. Let's go in here and we are looking for where is our damn content, right? So this here is what I want. I don't need all this other stuff. What I want to see, or what the agent needs to have, is access to the content. Here is a field called content, right? To help Oracle Cloud customers and end users succeed by tuning blah, 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 turning. Let's go over here. To help Oracle Cloud customers and end users succeeding by turning complex systems, blah, blah, blah. So it grabbed this one block. And the funny thing is, when you try to copy this, sometimes at least, here. When you do it this way, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a thin line separate. This is probably going to see that. There's like a thin line separating these. This is why this here is one block. Oopsie. Shit. I need to zoom out again. This doesn't work. But this is one block, right? And that's why we get it returned as one block. So what we want to do as the next step is something called aggregate. By now, I'm not going to, like browse through everything manually. That's going to take forever. Go in, click aggregate, and then we want to input the field name. Let me pull this over here, and we're looking for a field named content. Right here on the left side, you don't want to look into JSON. You want to look into schema. It should default this way, and it's going to give you all this kind of crap here, and then it gives you content. So just pull content in here. That's it. That's literally it. You can click on test step, and what it shows you is on the right side, you still get JSON where it says content, right? And then here's the content, but it gives you just the content. It doesn't give us all the unnecessary clutter that we saw before. All right, this is already a big improvement. Now, to make this a little bit better, because right, this is not optimal, obviously, you can use a step called edit fields or set fields, right? They renamed this. And we're gonna go for manual mapping, and I'm looking for content. Let me see if I get this right on the first time. Now, this is an array. This is a list of different contents. You see? 42 different pieces of contents. I don't care about it being different pieces. I want it to be one piece. So let's see if we can get this. String json.content. I know I lied to you. I'm sorry. We are going to code. You just literally put a thing here, a period, and type join and click on this here, and then hands off. All right. Click on test step. This should work. Yeah, here we go. So this is basically transforming everything into a string. A string, for everyone that's not in tech, a string is a text. All right. Great. So you built your first fully functional workflow. That's actually pretty dope. No shit. I know there's probably a lot of, wannabe AI automation agency owners out there right now that are incapable of even building something like this here, where we get or build a custom connector. We're not really building anything, right? But we're creating a custom connector with a database tool like Notion. We are connecting it manually via the credentials to N8N. We are calling our, we create a workflow that can be used within another workflow. We're going to see this in a second. We are calling the page that we were looking at in Notion. We're grabbing all the information, and instead of it being blocks and all this shit, we also transform the data into having a plain text in here. Like, I want to give you some props. That is actually pretty dope. I know a lot of people that wouldn't be able to do that. So great job. And we're actually getting closer to the end. I know it didn't come together yet. So the next 10 minutes will probably what we've all been waiting for. Let me share my screen again here. And the next time I should remember to make 2 of these. Oh God, it's just not enough. Window share. Give me just a second. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, guys, I think that's the first time ever that I'm live on Instagram as well. So if you're on Instagram, this here is obviously a horizontal footage. It's gonna suck a little bit for you. Sorry about that. But we're live on YouTube, so that's all I can say. All right. Now let's go ahead and look at this here. Nothing there. Next step. We want to use this workflow. We're going to leave this alone here for a second. This is demo get brand brief, right? That's what we called it. And we see it works. We are going back to our home overview. And we're going back to the demo of simple AI agents, so the first AI agent that we built. And this is still hanging out here and it's empty. There's 2 things we still need to do, and then we will be able to run this here and see what it comes back with. Now, let's click on add a tool. There is a bunch of things you can do here. And yeah, for a lot of the things that I do with my client, it's an HTTP request, right? Where you integrate with the customer CRM, or where you do a bunch of things, right? You can do everything here. You can integrate with, everything. Let's say, for example, Airtable, great tool, right? You can use Google, Asana. Like we're just at A, right? The list goes on and on and on and on. Click up all the tools that you can imagine. You can either do here, or you're just going to create an HTTP request, or what we did, if it's too complex. I honestly absolutely hate when I see some of the template sellers on YouTube or whatever, and they show you a hyper complex n8n flow with all these nice sticky notes, you know, where they like, oh, let me add a cool sticky note somewhere, right? It's here, add a sticky note. You know this, right? They're gonna show you something cool, and then here, this is a, I don't know, whatever. Let me pull this bigger. And then they say, this here is N8 and Genius, something like this, right? It's kind of getting on my nerves because they may look beautiful, but you actually don't. The more complexity you introduce to these things, the more they can break, especially with AI agents. With the more options you give them to fuck up, the more they will, right? For example, if you, instead of having one chat going in there, you have 20 chats. It's gonna become increasingly harder, even for professionals like me, to make the agent or to force it to use the tools that you wanted to use on every single time, right? You need to add a session ID, then you need to loop over the different items. You need so many things that can break. So keep it as clean as possible. And that's what we're doing here as well. So click on plus, call N8N workflow, and now you can basically just select from our database, right, that we're already in, and from a list. And you can choose whatever I have in this demo account here, demo get brand brief, right? Demo get brand brief. That's it. Now, one thing you want to do is to give this tool a quick description. It doesn't have to be the most comprehensive, but it's something like, call this tool to get Linus brand brief. Honestly, I'm not sure if you put this here. I'm not an English native, but you know what I mean, right? Maybe end guidelines, something like this. So it's actually rather straightforward, right? Nothing fancy that you have to do here. And this basically means when the agent needs the brand brief, then it's going to go ahead and it's going to use this tool, and it's going to execute the demo get brand brief workflow, the one that we built just a second ago, where we call the Notion page, right? And get this brand brief from the Notion page and transform it into text document. It's going to get the text back and then use it to formulate its response. That's basically it, right? So fairly simple. So far, so good. Click out of here. Oh, no, that's what I want to do. So this here, we want to rename into get brand brief. All right. Very straightforward. Now, you can do a lot more things here, honestly, and add more tools, feedback mechanisms, whatever. The one thing that we're still missing, though, is a comprehensive guide on, what the agent should be doing. So let's click on agent. The source for the prompt in our case here is the connected chat trigger node, right? Because we have connected it to a chat trigger. If we didn't have that, we would go ahead, say define below, and you would give it a prompt. For me right now, I let it as connected chat trigger node, add an option, system message. This is kind of the prompt. It's not going to be what you, right? This is going to be the prompt if it wants so, right? The chat input. But this here is the most important thing. And this is way too small. So you want to click on expression and you want to open this thingy here, so you have a full screen to type in. And I'm not going to write this all down because you see I'm working on my touchless typing and my touchless typing is super slow. So let me copy it from another agent that I created. And we will read through it together because there's probably some pieces in there that we don't need. All right, you are a helpful content creator for Linus Allies personal brand about Oracle Cloud Consulting. That's good. You will go through the following steps for each content creation task. Well, this is because in the other workflow, I'm looping over items, but okay. This here is Markdown, right? So you want this Markdown format to make it easy for your AI to understand. Your mission is create a strong post that meets brand tone and passes a quality meets brand tone. Again, we don't have a quality check here. Step 1, get the brand brief. Call the get brand brief tool. That's very nice. Let's make sure we call it exactly this way. Get brand brief capitalized. Go back in here. Yep. This shit's important. This shit is honestly important because even though this here is AI, it's incredibly stupid and annoying sometimes. AI agents really are not for beginners. Again, you're doing a great job doing this and you will be seeing success. But when it gets, the more and more complex it gets hard really quickly because it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. So make sure when you wanted to call a certain tool to exactly name this tool like it's named in your thingy here, right? This returns tone, voice, and structured guidelines you must follow. Very good. Step 2, create a post. Use the provided topic and the brand brief to write one original post. All right. Step 3, we can quit this. We can quit. Again, this is from another workflow. Step 5, return the final approved post in clean JSON format in this style here. I honestly think we can get rid of this as well. Yeah, I would have been simulate the results of these tools. This is, for example, this is one where I was trying to fiddle around, right? To make it really clear that this stupid thing should use the tools. It can get annoying, right? So be careful, be very descriptive. Don't leave any room for for error and creativity, right? You don't want to use natural language like, could you please maybe? No. You got to tell it what it has to do. All right. All right. Let's try this. Why not? Probably not the best ever created, but should be good enough. All right, so we chat. It's gonna get JSON chat input as the prompt. That's good. This is the expression. That should be good enough. It must get the brand brief first, otherwise this here fails. Then it creates a post and then it formats the output, hopefully in this JSON format. You must call the following tool without exception. Use generating a post. Okay, that's good. Do not assume or simulate the results. Okay, we can leave this in there. Right, I think I like that. That should be good enough. One thing you could do, let's go into OpenAI chat model, add options. Where's my temperature? Okay, I think for content generation, it's good enough. So the temperature is a life hack when you work with yeah, whenever you work with AI, if you want creative outputs, you can use a higher temperature. If you want to have accurate outputs, you want a lower temperature. Temperature is between 0 and 1. Usually when I do research and shit, I want a zero point 0.2 or something. Honestly, here, I think for creating content, a 0 0.7, 0 0.8, maybe even is good enough. So let's stay with 0 0.7 and click on save again. And now we want to finally see if it works on the first try. Normally it doesn't, but let's see if it works. So in the other workflow we created, you could just click on test, right? But this here requires some input. I want a chat about something, or I want a post about something. So let's click on open chat, and it's opening the chat down here. I hope you can see this, by the way. So let me put into the chat a very simple prompt, actually, to show you. I mean, we saw this in another video in episode 2 where we fine-tuned the model. It should create us relatively good outcomes that sound more like me than normal ChatGPT by just giving a rudimentary prompt. So I want a post importance of policies and I don't know about now I don't come up with the idea. I don't know why. A post about the importance of procurement in Oracle Cloud. Man, I wouldn't even know what I would say about this myself. Let's first try if the thing works. So it did call the chat tool, the get brand brief. It went back and it used the chat tool to give us a response. So let's see what the output is. Procurement is the backbone of our Oracle Cloud system. By the way, don't worry about these NNs here. They are supposed to be, they come from my fine tuning from the ChatGPT model. These here are enters or line breaks, but in a JSON L format. So ignore them. They would be normally a formatting thing. You know, procurement is the backbone of our Oracle. Most companies treat it as basic purchasing function. But if you design it right, procurement becomes the place where strategy, compliance, automation all come together. Done right, it controls spend, tightens supply chain, and keeps your business aligned on how you buy and why. Like these things here. Oh, but this only works if you define clear rules of engagement. Who can buy what? When? How do approvals work? Where do you need to check for contracted suppliers? I honestly think the first part didn't sound super much like me. This here sounds exactly like me. I always bring a statement and then I bring a but. Right? This is just my style that I trained this on. Now, let's try one more time. Let's see if I can move this here down here so you can actually see the agent running. We want to use something else. A post about the biggest, or let's say something funny, a post about why big companies might struggle going into Oracle Cloud. I think that's, I mean, this is my expertise. Oracle Cloud, by the way, is a big ERP system that I'm working with some of the largest companies in the world. And this is obviously one thing that I would talk about. You can see it running up here, right? It got the brand brief, it thought about it, it used the chat model to write a post. Let's check the post here. Oracle Cloud, this is this is a Linus post. Oracle Cloud is a powerful system, but for big companies, it can be a nightmare to implement. Why? Because mega organizations have more complexity, more exceptions, and less centralized decision making. Oracle is built for standardization, but most companies are addicted to customization. Oh God, like this shit sounds exactly like me. Could you ever imagine ChatGPT saying something like big companies are addicted to customization. No. And I'm actually amazed right now because I never taught ChatGPT when I fine-tuned my model, I never taught it to use this word. Never. Not in the second episode of System Saturday, not in today's episode. I never made this statement here. Never. And this is the part. Man, this is like crazy. How can I don't know if you understand. You need to understand that. This is crazy revolution. I wouldn't even have found, because my English sucks, I wouldn't have even have found these words. I think it's a brilliant statement, and it's a brilliant way to display my core beliefs that a lot of the big companies are addicted to customization. I never wrote this down in any of these videos. I did not tell my chat model to say that in this wording, but it read my brand brief, it used my custom ChatGPT, and it understands what I stand for and what my core beliefs are. And it packages it in new creative ways of writing. I mean, yeah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, honestly. I mean, this is gonna have such an incredible impact on the creator economy. This took a couple of seconds. This is a really good post. Yeah. If you're a big company thinking about Oracle, you have to be ready to change. You have to be ready to standardize. You have to be ready to let go of the old ways of doing things. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a very expensive, very complex system that doesn't work. Like, honestly, come on, man. You will never, never, never get this from your ChatGPT. Never. Or Perplexity or Claude or whatever it is. You will not get an outcome as good as this. Now, obviously, this here is just a little bit biased because we're mixing two different things, right? Because we're using my fine-tuned ChatGPT model. So let me quickly. It just came to my mind, right? I don't want to seem like this is only working with the fine-tuned model. Obviously, it's better working with the fine-tuned model, right? That's for sure. But I want to give you a demo as well with a normal model that you're probably going to use if you didn't watch the second episode. So let's go here. Let's take 4 mini or something. Man, I have so many personalized things. Oh, here's the personalized test for System Saturday. That actually wasn't too good. So I'm not going to use that. 4.0 mini. Let's take it. Why not? Let's not make you hyper creative. All right. Let's save this. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to come up with some prompt that will actually be enhanced by this here. I don't know. Why don't we say something with like, let's create another chat, a post. You know what? Let's clear everything. We want to clear everything, even the memory, by clicking on the trash. So we get a completely unbiased outcome here. Now, let's create one more post. Next post gonna be a post about why so many companies feel that they implemented Oracle Cloud, but it's somehow not a real fit. I hope this is English. Let's see if that's English. All right, I'm going to go up again so you can see it running. We expect a chat message. Go to the AI agent. It's going to use OpenAI chat model to understand its own prompt. Then go save it to memory, get the brand brief, go back to the chat model to write the post. Let's go. Let's go. Dup. Get the brand brief and go back here. Oh, what is it doing? What the heck's going on? Okay, let me, sorry guys, but let me quickly check what happened here. Seems like we didn't return anything from Notion. Oh, we did return something from Notion. That doesn't make any sense. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I would go later into the executions and have a look about the. Anyway, sorry. Let's go back. I wanted to show. Oh no, is it? Yeah. Let's try the thing again, maybe. Anyways, sorry, I'm distracted. I want to find out what it was. Anyways, go back into the editor. Let's try it again and see if it works right now. That was kind of weird. Let's delete everything again. And let's say a post about companies that after an Oracle Cloud implementation feel like the system is just not a real fit. Even though the implementation was successful from an IT perspective. Let's see if that works now, or if it's still having spasms. It does, or does it not? Okay, it took 2 times. I would need to have a look there. Maybe it's something in the connection. Anyways, so here is the post. And the first thing you will realize, obviously, if you don't have a fine-tuned model like I had, it's gonna go the normal ChatGPT route and it's gonna give you a longer response. Right? This is a longer post because I trained it specifically to give me shorter posts, and this here is not trained specifically because it's a normal ChatGPT 4.0. You could put something in the prompt here, we didn't. So let's see what it came up with. Ever heard of companies feeling like Oracle Cloud just isn't a fit for them, even after seemingly successful implementation? You're not alone. Many organizations find themselves in this situation where everything looks good on paper from an IT perspective, yet the systems feels disjointed from their actual business processes. Why does this happen? It often boils down to a lack of understanding and alignment during the implementation phase. Here are a few reasons why technical successful implementation might still fall short. Misalignment with business needs, blah, 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 blah. Now, this obviously sounds a lot less like me. It doesn't sound like me, but what I want to show you is it doesn't have to sound like me, but it does bring the same points that I bring. Misalignment with business needs, overly complex solutions, ignoring the human element, lack of strategic intent. Let's go back to my brand brief, right, and talk about my core beliefs. The right partner doesn't just configure, they think, push back, and help you grow. Most ERP pain comes from ignoring context, not from bad software, right? All this good stuff. Implementation isn't requirement gathering, it's business process design. Implemented with strategic intent. Well, it just stole that shit right away. Implemented with strategic intent. Lack of strategic intent. All right. So I hope this also shows you the limitations of this here, right? It's not the solution to all your problems, but it's going to create content that matches your brand, right? It's not going to say, oh, if it doesn't feel like a right fit, you got to change your behaviors in your business. That's not something I would say, right? I would say the implementation got screwed up because then I need to come in and I need to fix it. And that's what I do for a living. So this here is basically the things that I would say, because we now have a brand brief, but it doesn't exactly sound like me and doesn't exactly talk like me. You will have realized, though, it does use less of the normal ChatGPT language, right? It doesn't, it's not too swollen. It's not too corporate. It doesn't use a lot of the corporate jargon bullshit. Disjointed is probably a word I would never say, but it's good. It's okay. So it doesn't sound too douchey, right? But it still can see some improvement. And that is what we are going to see when we select here our fine-tuned model. So if you haven't seen the episode about the fine-tuned models, go ahead and check this out next, because then you will have a truly powerful system, like incredibly powerful, that you can use to create your content. You saw it before. Like, this is exactly the kind of stuff, the one that we saw before. This year, probably not. But the one that we saw before, this is exactly the kind of stuff that I say. That's a brand brief. And the way that I say it, that's the fine-tuned model, right? And then you get back posts that you can copy and paste, basically. If you want to see that in another episode, we could go ahead, right? The next steps would be another edit fields, and you will map the output and you will transform all this stuff into text as you want it, and then go ahead and schedule it to be posted, for example, if you want to, using a scheduling tool like Buffer, right? You could do that. I don't think they have that yet, but you can certainly, we could build it together. No, what was that? No worries. We could build that. It's only a quick thing like we did today. So yeah, I'm excited. Let me know in the comments if you want to move even further through this thing here. I'm gonna be honest, in the end, you end up with a completely automated content creation game. But yeah, I hope this was very insightful. I honestly think if you know how to fine-tune a model, and if you know how to add, this here is called, by the way, we would call this a knowledge base, right? If you understand how to create agents and add tools to them, add knowledge to them, then this here was obviously just the first step of what you can do. This here comes down to not just creating some cool content, but, for example, understanding all your information about your technical inventory management robots that you're selling. And then you create a customer support chat agent that has access to all your technical documentation, right? While you struggle to find employees, you just need an AI agent. You don't need an AI, an employee you need to train for weeks, and then they still need to read through the documentation sometimes. An AI agent will read through the documentation from the first day. It will never be grumpy because it's tired. It will never be grumpy because it's back hurt. It will not call in sick, right? It will always work, and it will work exactly like you want it for just a fraction of the cost, 24 hours. So, hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you first want to see further automations with this, and secondly, let me know if you face any problems. Not because I want to sell you some solutions, because this here is some peanuts for me, and I would just like to help you out. So if you face any issues, then just drop me a comment or send me a DM on IG or whatever, and I'm gonna try to help you out with that, right? Yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. Luckily, a little shorter than last week. And then see you in the next episode of System Saturday. Thank you, and see you in the next one.